Oh, hi guys. We're going to read one of our most favorite books. And I know there's tons of different people reading this book on YouTube and online, but there's something about reading it with your kindergarten teacher who read it to you for the very first time of your life. So today we're going to read Caps for Sale. And you know how much I love this book, and I know how much you love this book. And so that's why we're going to read it today. Caps for Sale, a tale of a peddler, some monkeys, and their monkey business. Once there was a peddler who sold caps. And you know what? You can read this with me, okay? Once there was a peddler who sold caps, but he was not like an ordinary peddler carrying his wares on his back. He carried them on top of his head. First, he had his own checked cap, then a bunch of gray caps, then a bunch of brown caps, then a bunch of blue caps, and on the very top, a bunch of red caps. I'm actually going to switch. If I switch this side, you can see the pictures better. He walked up the streets and he walked down the street shouting, sorry. I got excited. He walked up the streets holding himself very straight so as not to upset his caps. As he went along, he called, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" One morning, he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street and he walked down the street, calling, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" But nobody wanted any caps that morning. Nobody wanted even a red cap. He began to feel very hungry, but he had no money for lunch. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," said he, and he walked out of town slowly, slowly, so as not to upset his caps. He walked for a long time until he came to a great big tree. "That's a nice place for a rest," thought he. And he sat down very slowly under the tree and leaned back little by little against the tree trunk so as not to disturb the caps on his head. Then he put his hand up to feel if they were straight. First his own checked cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top. They were all there, so he went to sleep. He slept for a long time. You know what's coming next. When he woke up, he was refreshed and rested. But before standing up, he felt with his hand to make sure his caps were in the right place. All he felt was his own checked cap. He looked to the right of him. No caps. He looked to the left of him. No caps. He looked in back of him. No caps. He looked behind the tree. No caps. Then he looked up into the tree, and what do you think he saw? Oh, we know. On every branch sat a monkey, and on every monkey was a gray or a brown or a blue or a red cap. The peddler looked at the monkeys. The monkeys looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do. Finally, he spoke to them. "You monkeys, you," he said, shaking a finger at them. "You give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their fingers back at him and said, "Tsk, tsk, 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 tsk." This made the peddler angry, so he shook both of his hands at them and he said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook both of their hands back at him and said, "Tsk, tsk, 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 tsk." Now he felt quite angry. He stamped his foot and he said, "You monkeys, you better give me back my caps." But you know that those monkeys just stamped their feet back at him and said, "Tsk, tsk, 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 tsk." By this time, the peddler was really very, very angry. He stamped both of his feet and he shouted, "You monkeys, you must give me back my caps!" But the monkeys only stamped both their feet back at him and said, "Tsk, tsk, 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 tsk." last he became so angry that he pulled off his own cap, threw it on the ground, and began to walk away. But then each monkey pulled off his cap. And all the gray caps and all the brown caps and all the blue caps and all the red caps came flying down out of the tree. So the peddler picked up his caps, put them back on his head. First his own checked cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top. And slowly, slowly, he walked back into town, calling, "Caps! Caps for sale! 50 cents a cap!" The end. I hope you enjoyed listening and reading this book with me today. We know that it's a favorite of ours, and sometimes it brings you joy to go back to an old favorite, one that you haven't read in a while. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for reading with me.